There's nothing better than a beer, unless it's a shot in a beer. Tonight, we look at the boilermaker.
The drain pour, it's a sin, yet somehow it's become a trend.
That was painful. He's Joe Sixpack, I'm Glen Macnow. We are at the Ship Bottom Beer Garden at Linvilla Orchards tonight for What's Brewing.
What's Brewing is brought to you in part by Montgo Makers, powered by the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board. Download the app. By Visit Bucks County. Follow the Bucks County Ale Trail. Go to visitbuckscounty.com/ale trail to get your passport. And by the Conshohocken Brewing Company, now with 5 locations.
It's a place that inspires the dreamers, the overachievers. A place for those who follow the path, as well as the ones who blaze them. So whether you want to go with the flow or rise above it all, visit Bucks County and be inspired.
Hey, welcome to What's Brewing. He's Professor Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow. We are at a great spot tonight, the Ship Bottom Beer Garden at Linvilla Orchards. It's a crisp fall night. People eating the donuts, drinking the beer.
Yeah, what a great space for foodies to come to. Local food here. One of my favorites, the candy apples. Perfect time for that.
You riding the big hay wagon, pulling the apples?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, sure you are. Anyway, we're really going to have some fun tonight, and we want to start with this. Beers that go well with a shot. And Joe Sixpack, this is because it's been a little bit of an issue locally over the past month or two.
Well, for whatever reason, the whole idea of the Philly Special, which if you've ever been into a bar in Philly, you know what the Philly Special is. It is
the Super Bowl play.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, the citywide special, I should say, is a shot of bourbon, usually Jim Beam, and a PBR.
What could be better than that? And apparently the birthplace of that is a great dive bar. Bob and Barbara's gets credit for that.
Been there many times. Great spot, especially for PBR. And you know, that sort of became the standard that for whatever reason, the citywide special became special in many, many bars. But the controversy that sort of came up about it had to do with whether it's 1 drink or 2 drinks.
Yes, Billy Penn, which is a very good local website, did this whole expose on it. To me, it's very clear. It's 2 drinks, 1 price. So I don't know what the debate is, but why not? Let's debate it.
Well, I suppose it's 2 drinks if you drink it one at a time. I've known some people who have consumed both together.
Okay. Well, we're going to do this tonight, okay? This seemed a good launching point for us. What goes well with what? Match a beer and a hard liquor. So I'm going first. This is our beer swap gets expanded tonight. I am a big fan of Irish whiskey.
Right, that's no Jim Beam.
No, this is not. This is Redbreast Irish whiskey. It is one of my favorites. Here's a nice pour for you, all right?
I think we killed it, Glenn. Is there anything left in
there?
there?
Yeah, no, it's, you know, we did a little bit before the show.
All right, so
anyway, and I'm matching that tonight with an amber ale. This is the, the Bell's. Amber ale. We're big fans of Bell's.
Yeah.
And so I got some of that and some of that. So one of the debates is, how do you drink this? All right, the argument is you drink the whiskey in a single shot and then you slowly enjoy the beer.
Right. I would think that. I mean, it's essentially sort of like speed drinking. It's a way to increase alcohol consumption very quickly. I think that's the whole idea.
Well, this is really nice Irish whiskey, which I'm not delighted about speed drinking, but we're going to do it. All right, here you go. L'chaim. Okay. Here's to you.
Cheers.
You know what? That's really nice, actually. I think they accentuate each other. I think you get the malt from the Irish whiskey in this, which is a kind of a malt.
Yeah.
What I'm seeing, what is that face?
I would have liked to have had that Irish whiskey linger in my mouth a little bit longer.
Here, I got more left.
It is such a nice tasting, and I like the beer too. But
lingering right now.
So
I think that works well. Now, actually, let me just do a little more history. Ask you. You're Mr. Philadelphia. there is a thing known as the Fishtown Martini.
Yes,
I don't
exactly.
know how I've missed that all these years.
This goes way back. When I lived in the city back in the 70s, a number of places around Fishtown and Northern Liberties used to call it the Fishtown Martini. It would be
What would that be?
It would be a shot of whiskey, maybe Shenley's, and an Ortlieb's beer.
Oh, the good stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a tribute to my friend Big Daddy Graham, who's an Ortlieb's guy.
That's right.
All right, so we did this, right? The shot and the sip. The other way, actually, tell me what's your match first, and then
Okay.
we'll talk about how to drink this.
All right,
puppy.
so I went all out.
Wow. Can I just say, you can see who's more dedicated to the show, right?
I went out and got myself some authentic
You just bring a
Jägermeister.
flask. Okay, here you go.
And, you know,
Is that the one you used to sneak into the vat?
a few of them. Yeah, they fit
Yeah.
their pocket size exactly.
Okay. And
So
what do you
Jägermeister.
got for a beer?
And I got some Arrogant Bastard Ale from Stone Brewing.
Okay.
And actually, you know what, Glenn? Let's get rid of these, because really true, we want to go with the big
Ooh,
boys here.
I like that, yeah.
And I wish we had more of this.
All right. Now, but while you're pouring this, let me tell you some of the other popular ones that I found. Actually, let's talk about the history. The Boilermaker, we talked about was here. Wikipedia, which is never wrong, says that it originated in Butte, Montana in the 1890s and was known as the Sean O'Farrell. Your truth meter on that?
Nothing of any note was ever invented in Butte, Montana.
Okay.
Come on. And alcohol included.
Okay, so what are we doing here
All
with
right,
this Jägermeister?
so the way I've always thought that you're supposed to drink Boilermakers, or also known as depth charges,
Yeah.
is to drop these babies
Oh,
in here. So,
we're back in college.
So let's
there
do
we
that.
go.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Here's to you. Oh, that's pretty vile. Yeah.
I like it.
Okay, well, there you go. Some of the other ones that are popular. The Irish Car Bomb, which is a frat boy drink, which is a shot of Irish cream and whiskey in a glass of stout. The Late Night, which is a shot of Pernod in an Imperial Coffee Stout. And the Porter and Dark Rum, because you don't get any sugar from the porter, you get the sugar from the rum.
Those all sound good.
Right? And the Sour and Vodka, which is what it sounds like, a sour beer and a vodka.
Yeah. that
Okay.
doesn't do too much.
So,
But
what-
I was inspired on the idea of the Jägermeister and the Arrogant Bastard simply because Stone Brewing did it for us.
Yeah, I'm sticking with
And
this one.
they came out with their own Arrogant Bastard that's aged in Jägermeister, or with the Jägermeister
so this is, they just come, they put them together for you.
The botanicals, right.
Wow,
so,
they do all the work.
Yeah, so it's a nice looking beer.
No problem with drinking a shot glass.
Well, now this one you can really smell.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's Jägermeister.
Yeah.
You know what? All right, what do you vote?
I like this one better.
You like that the best? Okay. I like this the best.
okay.
This is my choice, all right? Be discriminating, drink the good stuff. All right, coming up, what happens if your own gut served as a brewery? What if food turned... No, this is... I know it sounds enticing. If food turned to alcohol in your belly, and in fact it really did happen to a guy. We'll tell you about that next on What's Brewing. Hi, it's Glen Macnow. You've seen some of our Conshohocken Brewing Company's spots on this show, so I'd like to invite you to come and check them out. You can find us in Conshohocken, Bridgeport, Phoenixville, King of Prussia, and here in Havertown, where I'm enjoying an award-winning Puddler's Row right now. It's one of our year-round core beers, along with Type A IPA and user-friendly Blonde Ale. We've also got exciting seasonal beers, like Blood Money IPA, Philly Vice, and our Unfiltered IPA series. And come hungry. From burgers and wings to salads and small bites, there's something for everyone. Don't leave without trying the amazing cheese curds. The warm weather is here, so you can enjoy yourself on one of our outdoor spaces. And good news, you can find Conshohocken beers at grocery stores, distributors, and restaurants throughout PA, South Jersey, and Delaware. So get yourself to Conshohocken Brewing Company. I'll meet you at the bar. Hey, welcome back to What's Brewing with Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow. By the way, you can follow him on Twitter at beer_radar. You can follow me on Twitter at Real Glen Macnow. We're at the Ship Bottom Beer Garden at Linvilla Orchards, where I am enjoying a cider donut ale and a cider donut, right?
Perfect match,
right?
yeah, let me try that too.
Yeah. It's good. Okay, so we got some odd news here, and here it is. There's a guy in Ohio, 46-year-old man, swears he never drinks alcohol. Nobody believes him because he's a stumbling drunk, and he falls down, and he slurs his words, and he can't keep his thoughts. He's arrested for suspicion of driving under the influence.
Okay.
He says, I don't drink. Here's the truth. Stranger than fiction, his body is producing its own alcohol in his gut whenever he eats carbohydrates. I got to give you the science here. Pardon me, because I got to read this.
This sounds like a complete bogus story made up for the purpose of talking your way out of a DWI. Yeah.
The guy's got a condition known as auto-brewery syndrome, and what happens is people are snickering in the back. Here's what happens. When your body gets gut disturbances, including antibiotic use, pardon me for reading this, it allows fermenting bacteria in your gastrointestinal tract to grow unchecked. When a person then consumes carbs, pizza, pasta, bread, the fermenting microbes turn the sugar in that food into ethanol, leading to extreme blood alcohol levels. True.
I guess it is true. In fact, I have to tell you, when you first told me about this story, I did think it was completely bogus. However, I've been told by a number of folks that this has been a plot line on a couple of TV shows in the past.
Oh, is that right?
So House or something, or Doc Martin, something like that.
One of those?
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
So it must be true.
He finally checks in, and the doctors figure this out, and they say that he didn't drink any alcohol, but every time it started because, again, he was on antibiotics, and that made the whole thing happen. They say, strange as it sounds, auto-brewery syndrome, an underreported problem. Use that next time when you need an excuse.
Yeah, I will.
All right. In other news.
All right, what else you got?
Here's what I got. A guy in Arizona is arrested last month from robbing beer from the convenience store 17 times over 8 days.
Wow.
The guy takes his minivan to the store, to the Quickie Mart, every day, stops it, runs inside, grabs 2 cases, runs outside while the clerks are still trying to figure it out. They eventually, took him a while, put a surveillance camera in the parking lot, got his license number, found the guy, arrested him. Shockingly, he was already on probation. And he is now... he told police, please excuse me, I have an alcohol addiction.
Really?
17 times in 8 days.
Wow.
How about that?
But I'll tell you, this is actually a phenomenon in the Southwest. It's called the beer run. And there's YouTube videos all over the place
I've
about
been on
this.
beer runs. They don't usually involve theft.
And in Southwest U.S., when you talk about a beer run, it means doing exactly that, running into a store and running right back out without it. It's gotten so bad that that several police departments have put out advisories. In the town of Glendale, Arizona, they have
I've been there.
A video, a public service video, which we're going to run a little bit of tape here on.
Okay.
Don't believe it when someone tells you nothing's going to happen. Beer runs.
So this is a regular thing out in the Southwest?
Yeah, it's a real problem.
Walk in, carry out?
It's funny, but it's actually led to some shootings, some fatalities over the whole thing. Apparently it's a very commonplace just to walk in and out without your beer, paying out for your beer.
Well, Peoria, Arizona, police had Operation Chug-a-Lug. I love that. And a beer run crackdown that resulted in 67 arrests in under 2 months. So Joe Sixpack, I come to you. What's the lesson here?
Beer's too cheap to steal. So
pay for your beer, right? Do the right thing. Okay.
Really.
Coming up, speaking of stupid and stupid ideas, speaking of crimes, much like throwing money off of a roof, there is a trend now of people getting their jollies by pouring expensive beer down the drain. We'll examine that horrible thing coming up next. Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow, what's brewing?
I'm Joe Sixpack. I love beer and I love travel. I've visited great breweries around the world. and I'm inviting you to join me on my next expedition to France. Yes, they make beer in France. We'll travel the Seine on a luxury river cruise from Paris to Normandy. We'll visit breweries, explore the sights, drink great beer, and maybe some wine. Join me in October 2020. Just visit my website at phillybeerworld.com. Let's discover a world of beer together.
Welcome back to What's Brewing with the Ship Bottom Beer Garden Linvilla Orchards. I'm enjoying this fine cider donut ale, man.
That's a
Perfect
real
this time
good
of
beer.
year, yeah.
I went with the Pilsner.
Always good. Time for us to get into kind of the newsy notes for what's going on these days. And you got news from Victory Brewing, one of the just great local breweries.
Yeah, Victory is growing. They're going to open up a full-scale brew pub that's actually a restaurant with a brewery right on the Benjamin Franklin Parkway.
One into the city.
Yeah, at the, well, they already had a spot in South Philly down by the stadiums.
Okay.
Really was just a sort of a beer hall. This is going to be a full-size 14,000 square foot tap room and brewery in the old TGI Fridays space.
Oh, I know where that is. Oh, good for them.
Yeah.
That's good. Their stuff is great.
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
That's,
I'm happy to see them in town. It'd be nice.
Absolutely. Good for them. All right. What else you got?
All right, so actually in rather disturbing news to me, at least, Evil Genius, one of my favorite local breweries up in Kensington, has announced it's going to be doing a partnership with Windward Farm out in Dallastown, PA, to produce a new line of hard seltzers.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. No.
We've already been over this whole seltzer problem.
This is the biggest, the worst development in the business. What is with this?
I think they're just trying to make a buck out of it because it's not, certainly has nothing to do with brewing. It's just like an alcohol delivery devices, as I've called it before, and it doesn't make sense to me. As if you're a craftsman, why are you making this stuff?
Yeah.
So,
that's really disturbing. Boy, tell me we're not all going to go that way.
Please, we shouldn't.
Right. I really hope not. All right. If you think that's disturbing, let me tell you what you told me about now, which is there's this weird trend of pouring beer down the drain, which is a joke, but it's not a joke?
Yeah, well, there's actually, what caught my eye first was that out in the state of Utah, which has some really weird liquor laws.
I was there once. You can't like just go to a bar. You got to like join the bar. It's very
yeah,
odd.
you got to be a member of a club, that sort of thing. Yeah, and there's also has to do with how much the amount of alcohol in beer. Only low alcohol beer can be served in bars, but they actually
they were bad. That's true. The bar I went to, it was like you can get Miller Lite or Coors Light.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Both.
Both
kinds here. Right. But there they are going to start serving higher alcohol beers in the bars, which led the state stores where they were the only place you could get those beers. The state stores don't want to compete with the bars anymore, so the state stores said that they would start pouring these high alcohol beers down the drain so they wouldn't have to sell them.
Protest?
Yeah, no, more just as a non-competition. So
that's a horrible waste of a fine natural resource.
It seems silly.
All right, what else?
All right, but that led me to look around for some stuff about pouring beers down the drain because I had heard about this before, and there's an infamous video out there, which we'll go to right now, of some lunatic, pouring a can, or a bottle rather, of Pliny the Elder, very rare beer.
Iconic beer.
Pouring it right down the kitchen drain,
Oh my
opening
God.
up,
What
pouring
is
it
that
down.
about?
It's insane.
You know what that is? That's the idiot who lights a cigarette with a $100 bill so that he shows you he can do it.
Exactly, it makes no sense at all. But there is one case where I can sort of see it, and that's a protest, and we've been seeing this recently with Founders, which has been in the news because of this really nasty racial discrimination lawsuit that's been filed against them, including some depositions in which the taproom manager proclaimed that he didn't know whether Barack Obama or Michael Jordan were actually African Americans. So
he did that because he was trying to say he's colorblind?
Yeah, exactly. It made no sense at all, but it was extremely bad PR for Founders, and it led to some boycotts and also a number of people, including one guy that I came across, and I think we have some video of this too, of him pouring a rare Canadian breakfast stout down the drain.
Yeah.
Read everything about you guys on the internet today?
So as a protest,
Can't tell if a guy's black or not.
Okay, I mean
I can tell this beer's
it's the
black.
tea rebellion, right? Throwing tea in the ocean.
It is. I mean, he's already paid for it, so I guess he can do with what he wants.
Right.
And I guess as an act of protest, it's good publicity. I mean, it's good publicity in terms of protest, to protest your cause. But I don't know. I think there's other ways. Maybe not buy the beer in the first place if you really are upset about the
give it to
founders
us.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Or,
But you know what? I mean, listen. I'm not gonna mock their cause. I don't know the details of the lawsuit and so on, but it sounds like they've got a real issue, and they're trying to expose that. And so, until I know further information, I'll kind of not take a stand on. But I get it.
But we can agree. There's no reason to pour Pliny the Elder.
No, there is not. And you said so Maniac Brewing kind of got into the act a little bit.
A couple years ago, they came out with their own beer called Drain Pour. And I don't think I ever got my hands on it. I'm pretty sure they don't make it anymore, but it was a pretty witty rejoinder to the whole silly
Hopefully
trend.
nobody took the name literally.
Yeah.
All right, so we are delighted to be here with Linvilla Orchards. It's just a beautiful night. I loaded up on pies to take home for
All right.
Thanksgiving. And we've had our share of the cider donuts. We're enjoying the beer here at the Ship Bottom Beer Garden.
Easy for you to say.
I've enjoyed a few too many. Anyway, we're going to be joined coming up by Robert Zarko, runs this here joint, next on What's Brewing.
Ready? Fire!
Whoa! Hey, do you guys want to come with us?
Welcome back to What's Brewing. We are at the Ship Bottom Beer Garden at Linvilla Orchards, and I see Hazy, which is my jam. Robert Zarko, who's the president of Ship Bottom, is with us. What is this delightful thing I'm about to drink?
This is our saltwater taffy IPA. It's a new series we're doing on IPAs. It's a collaboration with Chamonix Creek Brewing. So we actually, in our batches, we had 15 pounds of saltwater taffy, sea salt from the bay behind us, and this is our fruited IPA, so there'll be variants.
Wow.
This is an orange creamsicle flavor. The next one we're doing is a pineapple.
All right, you know what?
The next one's pineapple?
Yeah.
All right.
The next 6 minutes are yours. I'm just going to enjoy this thing.
Well, I want to know, do you got like licorice coming here, or what are some of our favorite saltwater
Ooh, that's
taffy
nice.
flavors?
That's really nice.
If people put in and contact us, we'll brew them up.
Something
so.
that's blue, right? That's
So, go ahead.
I was going to say, you do have like a large palette of flavors out there. With the saltwater taffy beers, you also are doing a dessert stouts as well.
Yeah, last week we brewed a Fluffinator Stout. So we used 18 powders, marshmallow fluff, or 18 pounds of marshmallow fluff.
Wow.
We're going to use 100 pounds of peanut butter flour in that.
My wife, who is not a big beer drinker, will become a beer drinker just for that one.
And I think the kids will love it too.
No. All right, so I got to tell you, this is terrific, and I like this. But if I'm making my list of my top 10 favorite beers, this one is getting on it. This baby, your Mexican stout, and we had this for the first time when we came down to your place at Long Beach Island last year, and I've been a big fan of it ever since. Tell us a little
my
bit
favorite
about
beer.
this.
Yeah, so that's a beer that we came up with a couple years ago. It's brewed with Mexican chocolates, Mexican coffees, ancho, chipotle peppers, cinnamon, vanilla bean. It hits all the different elements. As it warms up, it gets better. We were actually at the Great American Beer Fest where we were pouring this month, and we brought this out. A lot of people fell in love. We came back. People in Colorado are calling us liquor stores and bars to distribute it out there.
Yeah.
It's just out for the winter now, or
Yeah,
or
we start
coming out for the winter rather.
Exactly. We start brewing it in November. So November 1st, Day of the Dead, it'll be released, and then we'll go all the way through March with this beer.
And you are available in PA and New Jersey.
Exactly.
Okay, so coincidentally, and it really is coincidentally, we do our beer, our brackets, and Joe Sixpack, I believe this was in it just now. And I got to tell you, I'm glad it won, because if not,
Actually,
we'd have to tell the guy.
Before. We told him that his beer lost the last time, but this time we had this in our bracketed in the the flavored beer section, and it was going up actually another really great local beer that's flavored, and that is the Weyerbacher Imperial Pumpkin.
Yeah.
And it just edged it out by 52 to 48% to move on to the next
And we got a
round.
lot of votes in that one. You know,
Yeah.
we got like hundreds of votes in that one, so people cared about these two beers.
Yeah, we appreciate the support.
Just real quick, we had one other matchup to report in this episode, and that is in the dark beer section. We had Sly Fox O'Reilly Stout, an Irish style stout, quite good, quite nice beer, up against Mainstay Birthplace Porter, and that was my little trickiness there. Is that Mainstay is actually now run by, it's a brewery in Northern Liberties, and it's run by Brian O'Reilly, who created the O'Reilly Stout. I wanted to see those two beers up against each other. Sly Fox trounced it. I think this is very well known and widely distributed. So
O'Reilly couldn't lose either way.
He couldn't. I was throwing him one there, I guess.
By the way, we post these fairly regularly. We have 4 categories this year: flavored beers, dark beers, sour beers,
And Pilsner.
and Pilsners. And we're going to get one winner in the end. You can follow Joe Sixpack at beer_radar. I'm at Real Glen Macnow. We do post these on a regular basis.
Oh, well, speaking of Pilsner, this is the beer I started drinking at the very start of the show, which was the Surf Check Pilsner. Is this a year-round beer, first of all?
Yeah, now it's going to be a year-round. We just start coming out with that in the summer. A lot of people are drinking it and loved it, so we start canning it. The first time it was canned was earlier this month, so we're going to have that all year.
All right, so we're talking about some fairly, crazy beers, I guess, in some extent. A Mexican Stout, a saltwater taffy IPA, but yet, your brewery is making some classic styles here. Is it hard to sort of move from one thing to the next, or is it just a matter of mixing recipes?
I think we look at brewing every beer the best we possibly can. Some of these classic styles, the Pilsner is one of my favorite styles to drink all the time, and that's important to me. And I think we nailed this one. So, you want to definitely have a beer and nail it down, make sure it's the best it is, and then come out in production with it.
Well, Glenn and I have this year sort of devoted ourselves to pushing, or at least talking a lot about sort of like what we call maybe they're normal beers or everyday beers, beer styles that you maybe not always see very much. And I know that your Barnegat Lager would certainly fit into that area. It's just a good drinking lager beer.
Yeah, that's a Marizin. That was actually almost like an Oktoberfest, and it was so popular in the brewery. Came out with that a couple of years ago.
Quick question, we're having a great time here. How long are you going to run the beer garden? How late into the year?
We're going to run it as long as we can, so it's definitely going to be open on weekends in November, and we'll try to stretch it until December, depending on how many people come out.
Terrific. It's like when you have the sunroof in your car. You don't think you're going to use it in the winter, but every once in a while it's perfect to use. Robert Zarko, we love being here. We thank you so much.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Enjoyed it, and we will be back here next week, and we invite you to join us. Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow from Ship Bottom. I don't know why that's hard to say. Wasn't hard to say before these beers. Ship Bottom Beer Garden at Linvilla Orchards. Thanks for watching us on What's Brewing.
What's Brewing is brought to you in part by Montgo Makers, powered by the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board. Download the app. By Visit Bucks County. Follow the Bucks County Ale Trail. Go to visitbuckscounty.com/ale trail to get your passport. And by the Conshohocken Brewing Company, now with 5 locations.